Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ubong Usoro. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channels 365 and Star Times 276. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima has called for unity, patriotism, and industrial harmony, warning that the nation's economic recovery could be jeopardized by disunity and unrest. Speaking at the 31st Nigerian Economic Summit in Abuja, the Vice President, representing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, urged all stakeholders to put the countries first. Uyi Agbomofuegbe has the details.
At the 31st Nigerian Economic Summit, themed Building a Prosperous and Inclusive Nigeria by 2030, Vice President Kashim Shettima, who represented President Tinubu, delivered a message of resilience and reform, describing Nigeria's economic turnaround as evidence that tough decisions are beginning to yield results. He cautioned against actions that could undermine national stability. Shettima also underscored the need to protect key national assets like the Dangote refinery, which he described as an institution representing Nigeria's capacity for global competitiveness.
To jealously protect, promote, preserve, and project the interests of this great Nigeria. I wish to call for caution, retrospection, and a deeper sense of patriotism from both the labor and the organized private sector in defining and improving the relationship between labor and industry in the interest of maintaining our steadily improving economic fortunes. It's not about holding the whole nation to ransom because of a minor labor dispute.
Vice President Kashim Shettima also revealed that Nigeria's GDP grew by 4.23% in September 2025, while non-oil revenues rose by over 400% compared to last year. He said total revenue collection climbed from 19.9 trillion naira in 2023 to 27.8 trillion naira by August 2025, with foreign reserves now standing at $43 billion. According to him, the nation's debt service to revenue ratio has dropped below 50%, and Nigeria's sovereign credit rating has been upgraded to a stable outlook, reflecting renewed investor confidence.
We are giving priority to agriculture and solid minerals, two sectors with great potential to create jobs and strengthen our economy. To move faster, we have entered into partnerships with other countries to bring in modern farming equipment, train our farmers, and expand extension services across the nation. Agriculture is the bedrock of our economy. And for us to have enhanced agricultural output, we have to embrace technology.
On job creation, Shettima announced a $200 billion intervention fund to support small businesses and disclosed that over 440 road projects covering 2,700 kilometers are underway nationwide. The Vice President urged state governments to align with the Renewed Hope agenda, stressing that inclusivity, innovation, and diversification are essential for sustainable growth and shared prosperity. Uyi Agbomofuegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Democracy may be on the verge of a major renewal as political leaders, lawmakers, and party representatives meet in Abuja to deliberate on far-reaching constitutional amendments. The consultative session, organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Constitution Review, drew strong calls for credible elections, inclusion, and a people-driven constitution. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick now reports.
At the meeting, the national chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Dr. Yusuf Dantele, represented by his deputy, Dikbo Olayokun, lamented the high cost of elections and called for constitutional provisions to allow political parties to fill vacant seats arising from death or defection without expensive by-elections. He also advocated scrapping state electoral commissions and transferring local government elections to INEC for fairness and transparency.
For us in IPAC, we believe that the State Independent Electoral Commission's CX should be scrapped and vesting the responsibility of conducting all 704 local government areas elections on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC.
Chairman of the House Committee on Constitution Review and Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu emphasized that the ongoing process represents Nigeria's most inclusive constitution reform effort yet, with a focus on women representation, strengthening of local government, and restoration of public confidence in the nation's democracy.
Before us are critical amendment bills that will define the trajectory of our democracy for the next generation. Bills that seek to guarantee women's representation in our legislative houses, ensuring that no Nigerian is excluded from decision-making because of their gender. Bills that seek to grant financial autonomy to local government so that the councillors and the chairmen elected by your community can deliver.
On his part, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, represented by the Senate Whip, Tahir Mogono, called for the creation of special seats for women and strengthening of the judiciary and electoral institutions to sustain the nation's democracy.
When the elections fail, trust dies. When justice delays, faith decays. That is why we must renew both our ballots and our benches.
The reserved seats for women was also echoed by the PDP national women leader, Amina Brand, as lawmakers say they aim to deliver a document that reflects the realities of today's Nigeria, one that promotes justice, equity, and the voice of every citizen. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
After serving a 6-month suspension, the senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, is set to officially resume plenary sessions along with other lawmakers today. The assurance was given by one of our lawyers, Victor Giwa, in an interview. The upper chamber had earlier shifted its resumption from September the 23rd to October 7th, 2025, extending its annual recess by 2 weeks and halting deliberations on several key national priorities. Our legal teams has warned the Senate against any move to block our entry into the chamber, insisting that the Kogi Central lawmaker had already served out our punishment and is constitutionally entitled to resume legislative duties. The federal government, through the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, has engaged the services of Phillips Consulting and other human resource firms to conduct a comprehensive verification of civil service personnel records. According to an internal memo signed by the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, Didi Wilson Jack, and obtained by journalists in Abuja, the exercise will run from October 16 to November 14, 2025. The verification is aimed at updating personnel records, identifying skill gaps within the civil service, and supporting workforce reforms. It will be conducted across all ministries, departments, and agencies, including federal offices in the diaspora. Niger State Governor Umaru Bago has reiterated his administration's commitment to maintaining green initiatives and ensuring eco-friendly development under his new Niger agenda. This was contained in the statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Bogohi Ibrahim. According to the statement, the governor made the remark during a courtesy visit to the Minister of Environment, Balarabe Abbas, at his office in Abuja. The Federal Ministry of Budget and National Planning, in collaboration with partnership from the Agile Governance and Engagement, has launched a guide to accessing climate finance in Abuja. The event, held as a breakout session at the 31st Nigerian Economic Summit, aimed to help Nigerians unlock the trillions of dollars available globally for climate action. Our correspondent was there and now reports.
Climate finance is money set aside globally to address the challenges of climate change through mitigation and adaptation measures. Yet, Nigeria has struggled for years to access its fair share of these funds. The concern brought stakeholders together at this launch to chart a new course through the unveiling of a practical guide to accessing climate finance. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, in his keynote titled "Why Nigeria Struggle to Access Climate Finance," emphasized that the major challenge lies in limited institutional readiness, weak proposal development capacity, and fragmented governance systems. He says there is need to align fiscal reforms with climate ambitions.
Embedding climate priorities into public finance management through green budgeting, ensuring federal and states reflect our transition goals. And of course, bankable projects where strengthening capacity at the ministries, agencies, and state levels to prepare investment-ready proposals.
National team leader Pace Ifeanyi Ugoke says the guide is a practical toolkit. It maps out over 90 climate finance sources, including 18 priority funds that are easier to access. It also helps states and businesses understand the process, eligibility, and how to build capacity for successful applications.
The returns is significant, as you can imagine. Investing in climate-smart agriculture, creating jobs, enabling new businesses, stabilizing operations, improving efficiency, driving the green market.
Head of Development Cooperation at the British High Commission, Cynthia Rowe, says the guide supported by United Kingdom through the Partnership for Agile Governance and Engagement is part of efforts to make climate financing more inclusive and accessible across the Nigeria's public and private sector.
For me, I've never really been a fan of the word donor. For me, it's much more about being a partner, and I think we are moving more and more to being an investor. I see our contributions to the Nigerian development team as an investor rather than a donor, so I do like to move away from that language.
The launch is said to mark the beginning of a new era in Nigeria's climate action, one that connects knowledge with access and opportunities with implementation. Ubong Usoro, reporting for Global Television.
People's Democratic Party's National Elective Convention preparations are in top gear. The PDP Protocol Subcommittee has met in Abuja to fine-tune plans and logistics ahead of a major political event holding on the 14th and 15th of November in Ibadan, Oyo State capital. Our correspondent was there and now brings details. That report will come in a subsequent bulletin. The chairman and chief executive of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Bawa, retired, has called on stakeholders to ensure that the next National Drug Control Master Plan addresses emerging threats sustaining the illicit drug trade in the country. Bawa made the call in Niger State while declaring open a 5-day workshop to draft the National Drug Control Master Plan for 2026 to 2030. Samuel Odi completes the report.
Nigeria's war against drug abuse is taking a new strategic turn. The retreat, funded by ECOWAS, commissioned and supported by United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes, aims to develop a robust framework to guide Nigerians' drug control efforts for the next 5 years. The chairman and chief executive of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Madwa, described the task as both strategic and historic. Mara charged participants drawn from government ministries, agencies, and international partners to bring their expertise and commitment to the discussion, stressing that the workshop is not just about producing another document, but also safeguarding the health and security of Nigerians.
TMP 2026 to 2030 must be visionary yet practical, comprehensive yet targeted, and nationally owned, yet regionally and globally aligned. This workshop is not just about producing another document. It is about charting a collective vision to safeguard the health, security, and well-being of our people.
Speaking on behalf of the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, Dr. Akindumo Ibanga said Nigerians' effort to control drug abuse remains commendable, but emphasized the need for adaptive and inclusive strategies to respond to new, proactive substance and organized crime networks.
This workshop presents us a unique opportunity to look at what we've done previously, the shortcomings, and to harmonize our perspectives and ensure that our priorities reflect both national realities and international standards.
Also speaking, ECOWAS Commission for Human Development and Social Affairs, represented by Dr. Daniel Amankwa, pledged continued technical and financial support to Nigeria in line with regional and international best practices.
The Nigerian National Drug Control Master Plan will expire this year or maybe next year, and a new plan needs to be developed to address the emerging threats, trafficking patterns, and the increasing burden of substance use disorders.
As Nigeria prepares its next 5-year strategy against drug abuse and tracking, the hope is that the new master plan will not only strengthen institutions but also protect the future generation from the dangers of illicit drugs. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
In a bold move to curb the rising cases of cancer in Nigeria, the federal government has launched a national sports and fitness fiesta against cancer, combining exercise, awareness, and free health screening for civil servants in Abuja. You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, Manchester City's Stones reveals retirement thoughts after injury-plagued season. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. In business, Nigeria's lawmakers are turning their attentions to the fast-growing world of digital finance. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, says the country must urgently create a legal framework to regulate cryptocurrency and point-of-sale operations to protect citizens and the economy from emerging risk. Our National Assembly correspondent, Anietia Patrick, has the details.
At the National Assembly in Abuja, the conversation is shifting to the digital economy and how Nigeria can regulate it. Declaring open the House Ad Hoc Committee on the Economic, Regulatory and Security Implications of Cryptocurrency and the POS Operations, Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, represented by the House Whip Usman Kumo, described the assignment as a national call to action. The Speaker noted while cryptocurrency and POS transactions are now vital to global commerce, they also carry serious risks, including cybercrime, fraud, and money laundering. He called for a clear policy framework that balances innovation with protection for consumers and financial system.
As a parliament, we need a legislation to guide the operations of these very important digital financial transactions that will guide the House and help us in formulating a regulatory framework.
Committee Chairman Olufemi Bamishele also expressed concern that many fintech platforms have become tools for scammers, saying regulators are struggling to keep up with rapid digital changes.
Let us be frank. Many fintech entails in our countries still lack robust protections for their consumers. Their platforms have regrettably become platforms of choice of scammers who flee incessant on innocent Nigerians day after day. If ignored, this risk could compromise not only our financial stability, but also our national security.
The committee is expected to consult stakeholders across the financial and technology sectors as it crafts recommendations for a new digital finance law. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
To sports, for the 9th straight night, hundreds of young Moroccans have taken to the streets across the kingdom, demanding an end to corruption and a change in government. What began as a scattered frustration has grown into a nationwide movement led by youth who say they are tired of being ignored. Tara Naze reports.
The protest, organized online by a group called Gen Z 212, have spread from Casablanca to Tetuan and the capital Rabat. Demonstrators are calling for better healthcare, education, and transparency while urging Prime Minister Aziz Akanos to resign. Though organizers insist on peaceful action, tension has flared in smaller towns. Authorities say 3 people were killed near Agadir after security forces opened fire in what they described as self-defense. The arrest followed outrage over the deaths of 8 pregnant women who reportedly died after being denied timely cesarean care, an incident that became a symbol of the nation's failing health system for many years. The tragedy exposed the deep inequalities driving the movement. As Morocco's night echo with chants for reform, its youth say they want more than a change in leadership. They want dignity and opportunity. From social media to the streets, their message is clear. The time for silence is over. Zahra Nasr, reporter for Global TV News.
To sports, Remo Stars and Rangers International returned to winning ways on Monday as both clubs secured important victories in their respective Nigerian Premier Football League fixtures on Monday. At the MKO Abiola Sports Arena in Abeokuta, defending champions Remo Stars overcame a stubborn Wiki Tourist side with a 2-0 win, while Rangers International edged Katsina United 1-0 in a match that resumed on Monday morning after being suspended due to heavy rainfall in Enugu. After back-to-back league defeats to Plateau United and Abia Warriors, Remo were desperate to steady their campaign following their impressive CAF Championship League outing. And that's it on Global TV Midday News. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channels 365 and Star Times 276. My name is Ubong Usoro. Bye for now.